Okay, if you are a fan of women's football, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, and make sure you follow us on Spotify as the audio version is over there. Welcome to episode
Yes.
8 of Charlie and Kirsty Talk Women's Football.
8.
We have just finished watching Man City versus Tottenham. 2-1 this time, not as big as the other scoreline. But yeah, 2-1. Where do we start with it?
Bethany England.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Beth England.
I mean, I'm a Man City fan, so I'm quite glad that half those goals didn't go in. But I think she deserved it. She
I mean, she
deserved
got
a
the
lot
goal.
more than she. Yeah, she got one.
She got the
I think
one.
she definitely deserved more than she got. But it was a good game. It was intense. I screamed a lot. So anybody that was in our live, I apologise. But yeah, it was very intense.
I
From a
don't think
City
it was
point
as
of view,
entertaining. It wasn't a very good game.
we were also there last time though. That's what you got to think.
The first half was good. The first half was really good.
Mm.
Obviously 1-1 going into the first half. Beth England lobs the goalkeeper. Viv gets a header. I thought it was good. Tottenham had some really good chances. Annoyingly, I feel like I'm going to be defending Tottenham a lot. As an Arsenal fan,
Yeah, not great.
it was annoying that Tottenham would look really good. Yeah, I think Tottenham just changed their plan.
No.
The last time that City and Tottenham played, Tottenham tried to play out a lot from the back and tried to do a lot of passing and got caught out by City's high press. And they just didn't bother this time. They didn't even try to really play around the back. They
No,
just
they
played
didn't.
straight through the middle, tried to cut out what City normally do, and it worked. And yeah, I do think it probably should have ended in a draw. I don't think City looked that good. They had to take off Bunny Shaw.
You can't disregard Fajino though. Like
Yeah, she played well.
she played amazing, and she it's only her third goal that she scored for us or something like that. So she well deserved it. And to say that her and Yui in particular, I know there were other
Yeah.
people like obviously Charlie Grant for Tottenham and stuff, but they've just come back from a high intensity tournament of playing 3 games in the space of 7 days for the SheBelieves Cup, and I know both of them played quite a lot of time during it. So did Yama. So I think they've recovered quite well. To say they played what early hours of Thursday morning. So,
Yeah,
and I know
and
people are going to say, "Oh well, other people played," but they have travelled back from America as well. Like people aren't thinking about how jet lagged they probably are as well. So actually, I think they played really well considering the circumstances.
I think the big thing for City was not having Rebecca Knack in there either. Like, not having her in there and having to play Naomi Lazel in centre
Mm.
back. It just didn't work. They just couldn't get the ball out. City couldn't play it, and it was really weird because like Naomi Lazel's really good at right back, but she just couldn't play
Yeah,
the ball. Like she couldn't play it
she was
out. And
struggling.
I don't know whether it was that. I'd have to watch it again. I don't know if it was just because Tottenham really crowded the midfield and really overloaded it, but they just couldn't play. Like they couldn't play through that line to get the midfield on the ball. But yeah, it was tough for City to play.
Mm.
Thought Tottenham played really well. Like Beth England, I think had like 5 chances on goal. Charlie Grant had a couple, and they had a lot of chances from outside the box. And a really good goal line clearance from Ashley Neville.
Yeah.
A
I'm not
bicycle kick off
convinced.
the
I'm
line.
not convinced that didn't go over. And I know everybody's like, online technology. But there were quite a few people that were watching along with us as well in our live, and they all said that it definitely looked like
The
it crossed the
goalkeeper
line,
literally
like
had the referee literally
100%.
has a centre.
But yeah, I don't think you can, like, I'm still convinced it went in. I'm always going to be convinced it went in. I'm a City fan. But at the end of the day, 2-1, we won. It's points. We need them. We're very close behind you and United now. So hopefully we can catch up again. But
Who got the second goal for City?
Virginia.
Oh yeah, it's
Yui
Yui, isn't it?
assist.
Yui played
Mm-hmm.
it. Yui played it through, and she like lobs her with her right
Mm.
foot, doesn't she? And then puts it in with the left foot. No, I think the attackers on both sides were very good.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
both sides were really good attacking. It was the midfield and defense that let them down. Um, Tottenham's finishing let them down, but their creativity, they really, and I'm not a massive fan of her, but they did look better when Jess Naz came on, especially on the right wing.
Still don't think she should be
I
called up for England.
But on the right wing, I thought she was really good. Like she offered a lot for Beth England. I think
Mm.
them two just work so well together.
Yeah, they do.
Um, there's the one where she's through. I can't remember who plays her through. I think it was, is it Oroz, the
Yeah.
Spanish player,
Yeah, yeah.
number 10. She plays a really good ball through, like a reverse pass. Jess Naz is through and then tries to switch it to Beth England. And I think Kirsten just gets there just in time. And there was
Yeah.
one right at the end as well where Beth could have scored. And it was just like it was a really unlucky day for Beth England
It was.
and a
I
really
think she
unlucky day
needs
for
to be called
Tottenham.
up. I think it's ridiculous that Serena never calls her up because she's well worthy of it. But we will get back on to England. But can I just... So you were talking about Naomi Lazel being out of position today, right? You haven't seen this, and somebody mentioned it in the live today as well. So I had to quickly kind of divert away from it. Viv has come out this week and said, due to the lack of defenders at Manchester City at the moment, due to injury and everything else, that she was actually asked by Gareth Taylor if she would be willing to play in centre back because of her height.
Yeah.
And it's caused a lot of controversy. Like, a lot of people
Why?
have kicked off about it on social media and they're like, Viviana Miedema can't play as centre back, yada, yada, yada.
Play anywhere.
But actually, it's not a bad shout.
They're footballers. They can play in any position.
It's not a bad shout at all. But I do think it is, at the end, it is a little bit weird, though. It's a little bit of
It's
a
weird
random
for
one.
people that just think that she's a striker. She's playing centre mid at the minute. She can play anywhere on the pitch.
You're nowhere near as surprised by that as I thought
She's
you
a
were.
talented. She's a footballer.
She's really good at what she does.
All
but
footballers
it's
can play any
just-
position. They might not be great at it, but they can all play it. They have an
But do you not think
understanding.
it's really random?
No, because if Yui was the same height as Viv, I guarantee you it has Yui instead.
Yeah, fair point.
Because Yui literally plays in there during the games. She drops into that role because that's her job.
Fair
Viv's
enough.
just tall and strong.
Yeah, I mean, but we kind of need her up front. So, now your choice. Next point, because we're talking about Yui and we've been talking about Fujino. Should we talk about the She Believes Cup
My second team.
before we talk about the England game?
Can we talk about my second team and how I'm always right?
No.
I love the Japanese team. I love them.
I just think it's mental that you were literally talking about them on here last week. For anybody who's not seen it, go and watch last week's pod. But Charlie made a comment about how Japan are elite and they don't get the credit that they deserve and all that jazz.
And they're going to beat America.
They beat America. It was Emma Hayes' first loss as America manager. And it led them to go and win the She Believes Cup.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
They beat Australia. Didn't just beat them, they destroyed them. They beat America, and then they beat Colombia by resting a lot of players as well.
Actually, I mean, the other way around. It was Colombia, and then they beat America. But it's nice to watch Emma Hayes lose. I know I said last week that I do think she's an unbelievable manager now. She's not at WSL.
She's the best manager.
But it was quite satisfying seeing that Japan had beat America to something.
How good are Japan though? Like really Japan is so good. They're really so good. They're gonna win the World Cup, I think.
Do you think?
I think if they can keep it up, and like Yui just keeps being great. Fujino,
Captain Yui, can we say?
And think as well, Fujino's really just starting to come into her own.
Yeah,
give her a few more years, like she could be elite. It depends on how much game time she gets when obviously Lauren Hemp comes back. But
I reckon she'll still get it.
Mate, they've got a really good team. They've got a really good team.
And can I just say, as a proud Manchester City fan, 3 or 4 of my team were in that squad that won the trophy. So, and I think it was well deserved. Australia, you all know they're my second team. You know, they're not Charlie's favourites, but I was slightly disappointed. I think the game against America really opened my eyes because I expected it to be a lot bigger loss than it was. They played really well. I think it was 2-1.
How many games did they win?
None.
Oh,
but that's not the point.
Oh, crazy.
That is not the point. They still did really well, and
3 games lost none.
Everybody expected them to lose by a lot more than they did when they played America, and
they lost every game.
They lost every game, but
they lost every game.
Yeah, but everybody expected it to be a massive loss against America, and it was 2-1. Even I myself said I think they might lose.
America rested players.
But they lost 2-1, and they lost 2-1 to Colombia.
America rested their big players to play the Matildas.
We're moving on to the next point. Before Charlie gets us cancelled. If we're talking about the international break still, England beat Spain finally again.
Thank you. Again, thank you. I said we would. Thank you.
This is just Charlie's head getting.
It wasn't quite the Russo thing. However, Russo did assist the goal.
But who did score?
Jess Park. But thank you. I was right.
Big up Jessie P. I was very impressed with how she played, actually. She played really, really well, considering, obviously, she hasn't had that much time for England, really.
You're going to have to do the breakdowns. I didn't watch it. I was training.
It's a good job. I've planned it. It's
go then.
almost like I planned the podcast. So Jess Park scored. It was a bit of a fumble in goal. I think there were 2 attempts to get it in. It got whacked out.
Who
and
was
Jess
the
just
Spanish
went,
goal? Did Catacol play?
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying. I love Catacol.
Spain did start getting quite catty
When they were losing.
When they were losing.
Oh, shock.
Pulling shirts. At one point, I was pretty convinced that Kira Walsh's shirt was going to get ripped off.
They just wanted to swap
because
early,
they just
didn't they?
pulled and put. Yeah, well, the amount of shirt swaps after the game as well blew my mind slightly. Spain didn't play as well as I expected them to. Aitana Bonmati, in my opinion, probably
non-existent.
6 out of 10. Do you know what I mean?
That's really funny.
So at one point, I forgot she was even on the pitch. I will be honest.
She got 6.5 out of 10 rating.
Oh, did she actually? On
Might have been
Flash
less.
Scores? Yeah, she didn't play great. She didn't play great at all.
Might have been less.
To say she's a Ballon d'Or winner. Lights went off. For anybody who doesn't know, in Nikita Paris's words, I thought someone had forgot to pay the lecky bill. The lights went off, so there was a delay of about 4 minutes. But that didn't stop England with their intensity. They played amazingly. There should have been a second goal. Didn't happen. But it was the highest recorded attendance over match day 1 and 2 of the Nations League, with 46,500 people at Wembley. So to say people don't care about women's football, actually, you say that to the 46,000 people who were at Wembley who paid Alan Brazil to go. They weren't free tickets, they paid to attend. So, and if we weren't teachers and lived up north, we would have been there ourselves. So it was a good game. I think a lot of people did expect Spain to come back, but it's good for England in terms of we almost got revenge for the fact that they took the World Cup from us. So yeah, it was a good game. You missed out on a good game.
Hannah Hampton in goal.
Hannah Hampton was amazing in goal. I think Hannah played really, really well. There was one shot that went in, and there was no way she was reaching it with her hand, so she just stuck her foot out, and it was like she was just elite. I think I'm a big fan of Mary Earps, but I think Hannah Hampton has well and truly kind of earned her place in that starting lineup. A lot of people probably won't agree with me. Mary Earps is obviously number 1, but I think Hannah Hampton deserves a lot more credit than she gets sometimes. And obviously Serena made the right choice playing her. So
obviously you've watched both games.
Mm-hmm.
Lineups were the same, apart from obviously
Hannah
Mary
Hampton.
Earps and Hannah Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the difference was? Because during the first game, they couldn't get the ball moving. The midfield was shocking. What kind of was the difference?
I'd say it was definitely the game against Spain had a lot more high intensity, I feel, than it did the game before that. And I know what people are going to say. You all know how much I love Lucy Bronze, wherever she is. But I think not taking her off for Jess Carter also made a massive difference. Lucy played really, really well. I think even Leah was a lot stronger than that first game as well. I think England had kind of come into their own a little bit. Millie Bright, at one point I was like, she was that far high up the pitch that I was like, is she going to be able to get back down again if we needed to be able to defend? But I don't think there was a single player on that pitch that I could have faulted in that game. It was almost like we'd kind of built ourselves up so much, and then
looking at the ratings.
Yeah, let me get the ratings up.
I
am not a
looking at the ratings. Leah Williamson and Ella Toone did not have a good game.
Oh wait, no, actually, I take that back. Yeah, Ella Toone, I was underwhelmed by. Emma Toone? Who's Emma Toone? Ella Toone, I was slightly underwhelmed by. She did go missing. If anybody knows where she was on Wednesday night around 8:30, please let us know. I just think they could have probably played a little bit. She herself could have played a little bit better.
I think Leah got 6.5, and I think
it up.
Ella Toone got 6.7.
So if we look at the lineups, Ella got 6.7, Leah got 7.1, Kira Walsh as well. So I take back that actually. Now I'm looking at the lineup again. Lucy played well, Leah played well. I kind of take back what I said last week. Millie Bright, usual. Niamh Charles, it's nice to have her back as left back because it's stressful when she's not there.
It just makes the structure so much better.
Grace Clinton played well. Kira Walsh and Ella Toone, not so well. Not as well as I'd have expected. I'm not saying that they played horrendous, but I would have probably expected a little bit more from them both. Jess Park obviously played really, really well. She's coming to her own. Lauren James as well. Wasn't too bad. And Russo had a couple of attempts as well, so it wasn't too bad. I mean, when you look at the Spanish lineup in terms of their rating, Lucia Garcia, who was up front for majority of the game, got 5.7. So what does that tell you about the Spanish team? Salma as well. Salma Paraluelo. I can never say her name.
She's overrated.
Wasn't great. Bonmati wasn't great. Alexandri was a bit underwhelmed by her. I think we were saying on the live today when we were watching the Man City
she's
game
playing
as well. She's
centre
making
mid.
quite a few mistakes, but she was playing a different position to normal. She was well out of position from where she was. Iwabi came on though for Olga Carmona, and I think she played quite well. She got 6.9 rating, which, other than, I don't agree that she should have got the same rating as Bonmati. I don't agree with that at all. I think she played a lot better, but yeah, it was a very interesting game to watch, and I think you missed out a lot.
So in terms of the difference in the two games, obviously England would have had more possession in the first game.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that England is still not completely comfortable with the ball, and that's probably why Leah had a better game, because she's not having to constantly have the ball at her feet, and the same with Millie Bright. Like, they just need to break the lines, and that's probably why Kira Walsh didn't play as well, because she's not having to dictate the game. Like, obviously I haven't watched it, so I could be completely wrong, but just hearing that and seeing the stats, it shows that like Spain always want the ball anyway, and we kind of just want to let them and just play more counter-attacking. So I think that's where, tournament football, we're gonna do well if we'll beat teams like that by playing like that.
I hope so. We've got a tough group for the Euro, so it would be quite nice to win. And as a City fan, I'm obviously going to be buzzing at the fact that Jess Park got her first goal for England. So, Jess P, this isn't the last you'll see of her, I'm sure. And I do hope Bethany England gets a chance to be in that squad, especially after what we were saying earlier and the fact that she didn't get called at this time. It would be great to see her in that squad. I think we've got one more international break before the Euros now. Playing down in Bristol. They're at Acton
I was going to say there isn't a Wembley one.
I'm a bit upset that we can't go, but it will be interesting to see what happens between now and then. And I'm sure we'll see Serena at a couple of games just to kind of weigh up our options. But yeah,
I think the only thing with that is that obviously you've got Beth England and Nikita Paris. I think only one goes.
Nikita Paris.
It really depends on what they offer, don't they?
I mean,
like, Beth England and Russo are so similar, whereas Nikita Paris she's got more pace. She's similar to more Jess Naz.
Well, I'm just getting it up because at the time of recording this, Brighton are actually drawing 2-2 with Chelsea.
It's not going to end. It's not going to end 2-2.
Well, I mean, it's 90th minute.
Doesn't matter.
2-2, but Nikita Paris was assist of the first goal, and I was looking up on Twitter before we actually just started recording, and a lot of people are saying like she is owning that game today.
She's mint.
So, and I think she played really well the other day as well. I think it was the first time she'd played since November 2022 or 23. So I think it was 22. So I think it was good. She deserves that place, and hopefully, I know what I said about Beth England, but if I've got to choose between them, it's going to be Nikita Paris, isn't it? So, but next point. Bit of a shocker, this. I don't think anybody was expecting 3 managers across the Championship and the WSL to get sacked within the same space of 3 days. So you had...
Especially the
Laura
ones
Kaminsky.
that got sacked.
Well, yeah, Laura Kaminsky.
I don't get that one.
Crystal Palace manager. She'd been there since July 2023. She got the promotion to the WSL. However, they've only won 1 in 14 games.
I know, but...
So...
But they have looked good in games.
They have looked good, but you know yourself as a football manager, you can look good in games, but if you're not getting the results,
but
it's not enough.
The comparison from the Championship to the WSL is massive.
Yeah, it is massive, but at the same time,
think about the first game of the season when they played Chelsea. They looked good.
Yeah.
They held Chelsea all the way to the end.
Well, we will get onto it in a minute, but it was almost like Palace knew exactly what their plan was because they've already got a new manager.
Yeah, I think that's the difference.
So,
the thing is, when a manager kind of does really well, you push the club up a bit more. So they're probably at this kind of level trying to get a manager, and then when one does well, they upgrade to the next level. So it's like what you'll see, especially in like men's game as well. You'll have one manager that really does well, and then you kind of unlock these kind of new managers that you could potentially get. So
I do think it's a shame. I think she is a good manager, and I get that the results aren't great for them, but she is still a
She
good
had a really
manager.
good plan going into the
Yes.
WSL. Like they didn't spend their money badly like Bristol did. Like they had a really good plan going forward.
Yeah,
they
they
got
did.
some really good players in the transfer window.
Coffee bit trod,
They've
just
got
saying.
some really good players.
But the next one leads me to wonder, is there a reason why she left Palace? Why she got sacked from Palace? Although I don't think she will end up in this role. But then Matt Beard has also been sacked the day before
It's the same.
Laura.
It's the same thing.
3.5 years. Now, Liverpool last season defied expectations. They exceeded well beyond where I think people expected them to be. They finished 4th last season, which is mental when you
So
think about it. And now they're mid-table where you would expect Liverpool to be. So it's almost like those expectations are so high now. They're not where they were last season. So they're like, see ya, off you go. And he'd won
three and a
twice with
half
them as well.
years.
3.5 years.
He
So
was at Liverpool for.
yeah, but
So
he
in his
also did
first
he had also managed there before that. So he had a previous
right.
spell there where
So
he did a couple of years.
in his first season,
Mm.
he won the championship.
Yeah.
Got him in the WSL.
Yeah.
Then finished fairly decent.
Yeah.
Then finished 4th.
Yeah. And now because they're mid-table and they're not getting the results.
That's so mad because like,
And he's
and it's the
managed there
same.
before.
It's the same thing though. Like now they're gonna get, a different caliber of manager because he's done so well. That's crazy.
So
I'm really
they
shocked in that one.
currently obviously have interim. Can't think of the word then. They obviously haven't got a new manager lined up at the moment, whereas Palace have gone straight in. They've got a gentleman called Leif Smerud. I've probably absolutely butchered that pronunciation. He has previously managed Norway men's under-21s team, and he also won won a bronze medal in the Euros in 2009 with Norway women's. So he has got experience in both the men and the women's game. I'm not sure how good that is in terms of commercial leagues because I don't know anything in terms of what if he's done any league management before. So it could be that he comes in and it has a detrimental effect and then they get relegated anyway. Although it's very close between them and Villa at the moment, so anything could happen.
It's a big risk.
But it does seem to be quite a big risk. Anybody who knows a bit more about him that feels they can give us some pointers to educate us further, feel free to comment under the video. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock. I think Matt Beard came as a massive shock as well. Like, I text you at work and said, Matt Beard's gone, and you were like, what? Like, Matt Beard's gone, and then the following day, Laura went, Laura's already been replaced. Liverpool have no replacement for Matt Beard. It's a bit of a mess at the minute in the WSL, and
They won. They won today.
Is it the floodgates?
And they beat Palace 2-0.
Well, it says it all, doesn't it? But is this kind of the start of the floodgates opening? Is there going to be more that comes out over the coming weeks about why they've actually been sacked, especially Matt Beard? Nobody's kind of actually confirmed why he's being sacked.
Performances.
But we can only assume it's because of performances. But then if you move away from the WSL where 2 managers are being sacked, you also then look into the Championship where last season Remy Allen did a little bit of kind of player coaching. She was still a player. She left to go become a manager of a team. She then left there to go and be manager of Southampton. And after 7.5 months, they've sacked her.
She the one that was at London City?
Yes.
And then Birmingham?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do know that. I do recognise the name then.
Yeah, so 7.5 months. Let me just get the championship timetable up. Championship leaderboard up. She's obviously been sacked from Southampton and they're currently 8th. Is that good? Is it not? Who knows? They're not. They're 10 points clear of 9th.
How did they do last season? Well, they came 4th last season.
So again, is it a Liverpool situation in terms of the championship, but championship rather than WSL?
Championship's different though because you need to get promoted for the money, for the TV money. So it's so much more cutthroat.
Yeah, it is. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Like, but the club, I know that fans absolutely loved Remy Allen as well. We have quite a lot of Sunderland fans who follow us. I know I mentioned to you previously about Remy Allen, kind of when she was.
She's done a really good job at Birmingham, didn't she?
Birmingham, she did. She was at Villa. She wasn't at London City analysis. She was at Villa. But she obviously managed
No,
At Birmingham, wasn't she?
managerial
Oh, yeah,
career.
managerial, sorry. Birmingham and Villa was where she played most recently. So she went to London City Lionesses. Everybody loved it. Everybody thought
Yeah,
she was
because
great. She left there to go to Southampton. And
she took London City Lionesses from quite low down,
yeah.
didn't she? Because there was the big
Yeah.
thing about her.
Yeah. So, and it'll be interesting to see who replaces her as well. It's just a bit of a mess, isn't it, at the minute in terms of management? Anybody needs a good manager?
Please.
Message us for Charlie's
Please.
number. He's doing quite well at Bradford City Academy, so anybody wants him, feel free. But while we're talking about the Championship and the WSL so closely, there has been talks this week about removing relegation and promotion from the Championship and the WSL. The Championship returning to its name of the WSL 2, and it just being a closed league. Thoughts?
Awful decision.
I agree.
Awful. What's the point?
Your guess is
So
as good as mine. I
so
really
nobody
don't.
goes up and nobody
Nobody
goes
goes up,
down.
nobody goes down. Everybody is secure in that league. They don't move.
So what's the point in winning the
There is no point,
championship?
really. There is no point because you're still stuck in there.
Daft. Just help teams invest better.
But that's the whole point. Apparently, this is supposed to help bring money in, and just I personally don't understand it.
But it only brings money into the WSL.
So there's potential structure changes, including the removing of the relegation aspect. But I personally think it would make more sense to have one team down. No, two teams down, two teams up. So it's not always your same teams every season that are coming up, going straight back down again because they've not got the players they need. They've not got the money that they need to be able to spend to compete with the top four clubs, i.e. Arsenal, Chelsea, City, United.
Or just expand the leagues. Just make the leagues bigger.
Well, that's
Just go 3 up next season.
3 up, 2 down.
No, just go 3 up and then 1 down. So go 3 up from the championship, 1 down from the WSL, and then from then on just level it and go 3 down, 3 up.
Yeah, I mean, it
Because
makes
you want
sense.
you want more teams in the WSL because you want more fixtures.
I do think
then
it
it
is
doesn't have to start so late.
Well, yeah, there is that, and I think more games as well. If you, the more teams you have in the WSL, the more money you are bringing in because you're going to have more teams, more fans, more people going to games, a larger number of games across the season. But then that brings in the argument of, is that going to be too many games? How will it work in terms of kind of international breaks and playing for your countries and things like that? But at the same time, I do think it is absolutely ridiculous. And if the proposal goes ahead, I think you'll find a lot of people will not kind of protest, but a lot of people will strongly dispute it because I know as a Manchester City fan, like it's exciting and you, as an Arsenal fan, it's exciting every year when you get to watch that team that's come up into the WSL play your team for the first time, and like you get to see the reasons why they got promoted from the championship.
All that's going to happen is that the best players in the championship are just going to get bought to the teams in the WSL.
Yeah.
So you're just going
to. And I don't understand the rebranding of putting it back to the WSL too.
I don't mind
I don't think that changes anything.
I don't mind that. But the problem is that anyone who does well in the championship is just going to not be in the championship next year. So no one's going to watch. You might have a really exciting player that everybody watches the championship for. They're just going to go to the WSL.
Yeah.
And then no one's going to watch that again until another one comes up.
Yeah.
Daft.
It is really stupid.
You know what they should do? They should just change it all, and they should just have like 3 big teams per region, and put that in the WSL.
Do you think?
3 big teams London way, 3 big in the Midlands, 3 big up north, and then anyone else is just playoff bases. So you just go City, United, Liverpool,
Yeah.
Villa, Leicester, Birmingham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham.
It's just frustrating.
And then everyone else is playoff points, and then anyone else that gets in gets in.
If you proposed that in the men's game, there would be an absolute uproar. Like, as a Leeds United men's fan, for example, we are currently top of the championship, ready to kind of hopefully get promoted into the Premier League, right? If I had a team, if that was in the women's game, I don't feel I would be half as excited for my team winning the league if I
No.
knew it wasn't going to get me anywhere.
No.
Like I'd love Leeds to win the league. Don't get me wrong, but what's the point if you're not going to get promoted and you're just going to get a trophy? What's the actual
But then
point in winning the league in the first place?
The point
There
with
is
the
no
championship
point.
is though they weren't making that much money off TV rights, so they had to put in playoff places to make more money on TV rights.
Which is what they should do for the women's.
Yeah, so
I feel a structure that is similar to how the men's
yeah,
works would work so much better. Imagine
WSL Championship playoffs would be good.
it would be hilarious.
I don't think it would get the amount of people yet, but I mean,
I
unless it was like
think
London
you're
City
wrong.
Lionesses, it would.
I think you would get that.
Not as much.
I think, yeah, but if you had the opportunity to go and watch your, maybe not at Wembley.
They should just do
Let's
3 up,
not
3
think
down.
Wembley, but pick a big stadium like the League Cup final, for
Yeah.
example. That changes where it is every year, so you get different people coming from different areas as well as supporters of that team. So last year we were at Molineux. And we met a few people. We were obviously still really early days in doing this, but we met a few people that had just gone because the game was in their local area. They knew it was a final. They wanted to go watch women's football, so they went. When we go in a couple of weeks, it's in Derby. So again, it's moved. You're not just going to have Manchester City fans and Chelsea fans. You're going to get fans from that area that just want to be able to go and watch football. And I think that would be what you would need to do if you did introduce kind of playoffs for promotion into the championship. But it's just finding where that would work. And it would take a while to get it off the ground, but
Yeah.
WSL board, if you would like my opinion and you would like me to come and argue this, feel free to let us know.
I think just do 3 up, 3 down for a few seasons, see what happens, and then from there do playoffs if you need to do playoffs.
Sorry, just as we're talking about the WSL and the championships and playoffs and things, Chelsea have just drawn with Brighton.
Which means now Arsenal are going to lose to West
And
Ham.
apparently LJ's goal was offside. So, also, this was another question that was put forward to somebody as we're talking about offside goals. Should VAR
We spoke
be
about this last week.
reduced? Oh, we did.
They should do automated offside. That's what they should do.
Not
Like
the
they did in the
semi-automated that they've done in the men's game that took 8 minutes yesterday.
Whatever
decide.
the one that does the photo, whatever that is, and then it shows you what part of the body is offside. Do that one.
Would you?
What?
In the women's game?
Yeah, just do anything to help officials. That's it. Just make the right decisions.
Well, on about not making the right decisions, I was umming and ahhing about whether to put this in the itinerary, but I feel like it is an important thing to talk about. We talked about it when it was Alan Brazil. I can't talk. Aaron Brazil. So when Alan Brazil obviously spoke out on TalkSport, it just caused a lot of backlash. A lot of kind of little worms came out the woodwork with their opinions about women's football. And a similar situation has happened in Australia. So let me double check what his name was because I didn't care enough what his name was to put him in here. So Triple M was the radio station, and Marty Sheargold. Okay, so Marty Sheargold on midday TV or radio branded the Matildas, which I don't agree with. I know you have your opinions on them, but he referred to the Matildas as a group of year 10 girls and basically disregarded the fact that they were full-grown women that were professional footballers and probably earn a lot more than he does and could probably play football a damn sight better than he can. Well, there's no might about it. Definitely can. So he compared the Matildas as a group of year 10 girls. Now, do you know what? I think it was fine well that he got sacked because I don't think you can be saying things like that. And he also, this was the one that wound me up a bit more, he also made a load of other misogynistic comments, one of them including the fact that he thinks endometriosis is a made-up disease that women use to get attention.
I'd love to hear Beth England's comments on that because she was one of the first players to come out and say that she had it. In that Chelsea documentary, she said she had it, and that's why she struggled so much with injuries and stuff because she had it. I'd love to hear her comments.
Yeah. He also said there's something. So his exact thing was there's obviously something wrong with the Matildas. He compared them to Year 10 girls and asked if superstar striker Sam Kerr and her fiance Kirsty play the same position, which is actually completely irrelevant. Okay. And then somebody said they asked him what his thoughts, because they were originally talking about the She Believes Cup. So while they were talking about it, he jumps in and said, "Oh, she believes in what? It better be men."
Oh my god.
So actually, I think he is a million times worse than Alan Brazil was.
I
You
just
can't do it.
I get it's for clicks, but just say they're not very good and
Yeah,
move
you
on.
can't. You
Why
can't.
do you have to say such stupid things?
And then some people were like, "Well, he shouldn't have lost his job. It's just his opinion." If we went round
No, but
making comments like that as people who have a lot of following now within the women's game, we would be cancelled.
it is his opinion, but there's no need to
But there's been
there's no need to say things like that. Like just say I wasn't happy with the quality. I think they could be a lot better. And like that's why I say like they're overrated, and I don't mean it as a horrible term. It's just
you're not saying they're bad at football.
everyone thinks they're so good, but they're not as good as people think they are. They're a decent team, but when they come against other good teams, they most of the time lose.
Yeah,
They
it's
struggle. They're not that good.
it goes back to the argument that me and Charlie make all the time. We make it in videos, we make it in comments if people start kind of with misogynistic comments. We've said it on here a couple of times. I would not go out of my way to tell you that I think golf is rubbish and I don't watch it because it's mostly men that play it and all that jazz. Or I wouldn't go out and say I don't like watching athletics. I
Yeah.
just keep that opinion to myself. You don't need to come out and make comments about how much you think women shouldn't play football. I'm really sorry, but in 2025, we are taking this game, we are running with it, and we are not going to be stopped.
My problem is that
we are not.
They just make like these blokes just make comments to just get a couple of high fives off their mates. So I just grow up.
It's
I just grow up, man.
If every bloke could be a green flag in women's football like you are, I think we would have a whole community that were so much happier with the situation than what we're in at the
Yeah,
moment.
but if you don't like, we always say, if you don't like it, just don't
Yeah.
watch it. Just move on. It's
Like
not for you.
the more people kind of, we think it's hilarious because when we've had this kind of thing to us personally as content creators in the past, where our response is enjoy seeing our content. If you don't want to see it, don't interact with it because you are going to have more kind of notifications. We're going to come up on your timeline. If you comment on Lioness's content or Matilda's content or whatever team it might be, you're going to see it. It's going to come up in your algorithm. Just leave it
And
be.
I think as well, the reason that he's so passionate about it is because the Australian men's team is nowhere near winning a World Cup or anything like that. Where the women got pretty close. Like they've had some big wins in their time, where the Australian men are just not close at all. So I think that's it. In Australia, sorry, the main team is the women's team because they as much as I say they're not that good, they still perform way better than the men do. Obviously it's just a different sport.
Yeah.
But like I think that's the problem. If it's like here where the English men are always so close and then the Lionesses are also there, you do have that kind of okay, one or the other or both kind of thing. Whereas Australia, it clearly is everyone's Matildas because the men are nowhere near it.
Well, if we're going to talk about success with teams, should we talk about your game this week? Moving on.
Yeah,
Talk
so
about your game and then one more comment.
So we had a league game. We played Huddersfield Town. We played them quite a lot, and every game's been really, really different. Last time we played them in the league, we lost 7-0 away. So yeah, we just changed stuff up. And we just said, look, let's focus on performances. And yeah, 4-3 in the end. We had a really good game. We played really well. I'm really proud of all the girls. They stuck to the plan and they worked really, really hard. Because normally our first half is our best half. We play really well in the first half, and then we kind of drop off because we're quite intense. We like to press high and we like to really run at teams, and obviously that's really tough if running for that amount of time. So in the second half we kind of drop, but yeah, this week they've fully kept it going for 80 minutes. So yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate the result. We had a lot of good chances, just that their keeper was pretty decent. And yeah, man,
I think the
4-3.
whole team needs a shout out this week because
Yeah, they've
girls,
done
you were
well.
amazing yesterday. We were so proud of how you played. I've been told I can't do individual shout outs anymore. So it's quite good that we can do a whole team shout out for
Yeah, they
yesterday.
were class. They
You
should
all
be really
played
proud of
amazing. You
themselves.
should be really proud. And I'm sure Charlie will have plenty of oranges prepared for next week's game. Final point for this week. I know I mentioned it last week, but Fowdies, take a bow. I managed to get my Angel City jersey ready to go with Kennedy 14 on the back. Just maybe could you put on my receipt how much I didn't spend? Just so Charlie doesn't know. But
I
yeah,
know.
Kennedy 14 will be repped in Greece in the summer.
I did wish it was the
can't
black
wait.
one, but
Yeah, I don't know how it works. It works very different in terms of name sets on back of shirts in America, apparently. But hey ho, it is what it is. Next week we will be at Man City, Aston Villa. It is an early kickoff. It is 12:30 for the FA Cup. We are in hospitality. Whoop whoop. We've decided we're going to hospitality because it's our anniversary, so that's how we're going to be celebrating it. So Charlie this season has had to spend his birthday there, and now we're spending our anniversary there. You're really excited, aren't you? So if there's any content that anybody wants to see, please let us know in the comments. Messages on Instagram, messages on our TikTok. Feel free to let us know what you want to see. Anything you want us to discuss on the pod next week, please do exactly the same thing. 3 of the points that we've discussed tonight have actually been suggested by you guys as well. We're working through a list now of suggestions. We really, really appreciate them because we don't just want to talk about what we want to talk about. We also want to know what you guys want us to talk about, just to keep you all interested and so that you guys feel represented within the pod as well. If you've enjoyed it, give us a like. Let us know your feedback in the comments. Subscribe if you want to see some more. If you're on Spotify, can they
follow on Spotify, leave a rating and leave a comment if you want.
Yeah, and we will be back next week. Might be on Monday morning, who knows, we'll see. But yeah, see ya.